Hello. Well, here I am, back in my cozy bed, ready to read you another story, another bedtime story. I have a few other friends here joining me to listen, so I hope you don't mind. And today I wanted to read Everybody Needs a Rock. And the reason I wanted to read this story is because I do think everybody needs a rock, at least because a rock is a little piece of nature, and we all need a little piece of nature. So sometimes when I go to bed, I often think about what I'm grateful for that day. And one of the things I'm always grateful for is nature. So let's share our story today. Everybody Needs a Rock by Bird Baylor. This is a relatively old book, but I think it has a good message that you will appreciate. Here we go. Everybody needs a rock. Everybody needs a rock. I'm sorry for kids who don't have a rock for a friend. I'm sorry for kids who only have tricycles, bicycles, horses, elephants, goldfish, three-room playhouses, fire engines, wind-up dragons, and things like that, if they don't have a rock for a friend. There's a rock that looks like an elephant. That's why I'm giving them my own 10 rules for finding a rock. Not just any rock. I mean a special rock that you find yourself and keep as long as you can, maybe forever. If somebody says, "What's so special about that rock?" Don't even tell them. I don't. Nobody is supposed to know what's special about another person's rock. All right, here are the rules. Rule number 1. If you can, go to a mountain made out of nothing but 100 million small, shiny, beautiful, roundish rocks. But if you can't, any place will do, even an alley or a sandy road. Rule number 2. When you're looking at rocks, don't let mothers or fathers or sisters or brothers or even best friends talk to you. You should choose a rock when everything is quiet. Don't let dogs bark at you or bees buzz at you. But if they do, don't worry. The worst thing you can do is go rock hunting when you are worried. Rule number 3. Bend over. More, even more. You have to sit on the ground with your head almost touching the earth. You have to look a rock right in the eye. Otherwise, don't blame me if you don't find a good one. Rule number 4. Don't get a rock that is too big. You'll always be sorry. It won't fit in your hand right, and it won't fit in your pocket. A rock as big as an apple is too big. A rock as big as a horse is much too big. Rule number 5. Don't choose a rock that is too small. It will only be easy to lose, or a mouse might eat it, thinking that it was a seed. Believe me, this happened to a boy in the state of Arizona. Rule number 6. The size must be perfect. It has to feel easy in your hand when you close your fingers over it. It has to feel jumpy in your pocket when you run. Some people touch a rock 1,000 times a day. There aren't many things that feel as good as a rock if the rock is perfect. Rule number 7. Look for the perfect color. That should be a sort of pinkish gray with bits of silvery shine in it. Some rocks that look brown are really other colors, but you only see them when you squint and when the sun is right. Another way to see colors is to dip your rock in a clear mountain stream, if one happens to be passing by. Rule number 8. The shape of the rock is up to you. There's a girl in Alaska who only likes flat rocks. Don't ask me why. I like them lumpy. The thing to remember about shapes is this. Any rock looks good with 100 other rocks around it on a hill. But if your rock is going to be special, it should look good by itself in the bathtub. Rule number 9. Always sniff a rock. Rocks have their own smells. Some kids can tell by sniffing whether a rock comes from the middle of the earth or from an ocean or from a mountain where wind and sun touched it every day for a million years. You'll find out that grown-ups can't tell these things. Too bad for them. They just can't smell it as well as kids can. Rule number 10. Don't ask anybody to help you choose. I've seen a lizard pick one rock out of a desert full of rocks and go sit there alone. I've seen a snail pass up 20 rocks and spend all day getting to the one it wanted. You have to make up your own mind. You'll know. All right, that's 10 rules. If you think of any more, write them down yourself. I'm going out to play a game that takes just me and one rock to play. I happen to have a rock right here in my hand. The end. So that was Everybody Needs a Rock. I don't know if you had a chance to really look at the illustrations as we were reading this book, but here's an example of one. This is This page is talking about the 10 rules, and you can see that at first glance, it might just look like scenery with some rocks, and there's some rocks up here, but if you look closer, it's a person holding that rock. And that's true on all these pages. This again, and now if you look closely, there's other things happening and there's a person there. So the illustrations in this book are really cool, and they're done by Peter Parnell. It's also unusual that we just have such sort of plain colors, mostly white, in our books, but it's a good book. Everybody Needs a Rock. I wanted to show you my rock since I have you here in my cozy room. My rock, I've had it for a long time. It's lots of different colors. I like it because it's smooth on this side and lumpy on this side. And I have to chuckle when we read that part in the book that said there's a girl in Alaska who likes only flat rocks. And I have my daughter in Alaska, and she likes all kinds of rocks. So, and actually, this author is one of her favorites. So I'd like to give a shout out to my daughter on this one. Everybody Needs a Rock. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed our story. I hope you've been having a chance to get to know nature a little bit better now that we're home a bit more. Our backyards, our walks, our bike rides, those are all places where nature's just swirling around us. And sometimes we forget to just stop and take notice of it. So this time when we're not in school is maybe a good time to get to know nature and maybe to find a rock, because everybody needs a rock. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.